Some trucks look so bizarre, they seem photoshopped. But they're not. Built in an era when engineers experimented without limits, these machines had twisted cabs, impossible proportions, extra axles, and designs that make no sense even today. People laughed when they saw them, until they realized these trucks actually worked. They weren't concepts. They weren't movie props. They were real steel on real roads. Get ready to see 10 weird vintage trucks that look fake but are 100% real, machines so strange they challenge everything you think a truck should look like. Number 10. Citroën Type H. The Citroen Type H is one of those vehicles that seems almost impossible to explain to someone seeing it for the first time. With its ribbed, corrugated metal body, slab-sided panels, flat nose, and exposed hinges, it looks more like a hastily assembled industrial container than a carefully engineered truck. Yet the Type H was not only real, it was one of the most successful light commercial trucks in European history, produced continuously from 1947 until 19... The strange corrugated body was not a styling experiment. Citroën borrowed the concept directly from aircraft construction, where ribbed aluminum panels were used to increase rigidity without adding excessive weight. This allowed the Type H to maintain structural strength while remaining lighter than a smooth panel equivalent. The result was a body that looked crude but was highly effective for daily commercial use. Another feature that made the Type H look fake was its front-wheel drive layout, something almost unheard of in trucks at the time. By placing the engine and drivetrain at the front, Citroën eliminated the driveshaft tunnel and rear differential intrusion, creating a completely flat cargo floor. This dramatically improved usability for delivery drivers, ambulance crews, and service workers who needed fast, easy access to cargo. Mechanically, the Type H was intentionally simple. It used modest four-cylinder engines derived from Citroën passenger cars, tuned for durability rather than speed. Performance was slow, but reliability was excellent. Suspension was independent at the front, improving ride quality on rough urban streets. The cab was basic but functional. Visibility was good, controls were simple, and everything was designed for easy repair. There were no decorative elements. Every surface existed for a reason. The Type H was widely used by postal services, police, military units, hospitals, and private businesses across Europe. Its odd appearance often leads people today to assume it was a prototype or novelty vehicle. In reality, it was a mass-produced, hard-working truck that defined urban delivery for decades. Its survival in large numbers today is proof that its ugly design was actually smart engineering. Number 9. Commer TS3. The Commer TS3 looks strange even before you learn what powers it. Its compact cab, odd proportions, and low engine placement already make it feel unfamiliar. But the real reason the TS3 seems unreal is its engine, one of the most unconventional ever installed in a road-going truck. Introduced in the early 1950s, the TS3 used a three-cylinder, opposed-piston, two-stroke diesel engine. Each cylinder contained two pistons moving toward each other, eliminating the need for a cylinder head. Combustion occurred between the pistons, and power was transmitted through a complex system of rocker arms and a single crankshaft. To function properly, the engine relied on a roots-type blower for scavenging. This design had real advantages. The engine was compact, produced strong, low RPM torque, and was relatively fuel-efficient for its time. Its horizontal layout allowed it to be mounted beneath the cab floor, lowering the truck's center of gravity and freeing up space. However, it was mechanically complex and required precise maintenance, which limited its long-term adoption. Visually, the TS3 looks odd because the cab sits unusually low and forward, with little visual separation between engine and driver. The truck lacks the long hood of conventional trucks and doesn't resemble later cab-over designs either. This in-between form makes it look almost improvised. Despite this, the TS3 was not experimental. Thousands were built and used extensively across the UK and export markets. Drivers often recognized TS3 trucks by sound alone. The engine had a unique rhythmic exhaust note unlike any other diesel. The TS3 remains one of the very few successful two-stroke diesel engines used in road trucks. Its existence proves that manufacturers once experimented far more aggressively with engine architecture. Today, the Commer TS3 stands as a reminder of a time when engineering curiosity outweighed standardization. Number 8. Bedford QL. At first glance, the Bedford QL looks like a mistake. Its cab is mounted unusually far back on the chassis, almost sitting on top of the front axle. To modern eyes, it appears misbalanced and awkward, as if the truck were assembled incorrectly. In reality, the QL's layout was a deliberate response to wartime logistics. Developed during World War II, the Bedford QL was designed for military supply roles, where compact length, cargo capacity, and off-road capability mattered more than appearance. By moving the cab rearward, engineers shortened the overall vehicle length while still maximizing the usable cargo bed. This made the truck easier to transport, maneuver, and load in tight conditions. The QL used a simple gasoline engine and four-wheel drive. Reliability and ease of repair were the primary goals. The drivetrain was straightforward, rugged, and tolerant of poor maintenance. Variants included cargo carriers, fuel tankers, troop transports, and specialized communication vehicles. Its narrow track and tall body further contribute to its strange look. Combined with the rear-set cab, the proportions feel almost cartoonish. Yet these proportions allowed the QL to perform effectively on uneven terrain and poorly developed roads. After the war, many Bedford QLs entered civilian service, especially in regions rebuilding infrastructure. Their long service lives proved that the design was not flawed. It was simply optimized for a different priority set than peacetime trucks. The Bedford QL looks fake because it violates modern design expectations, but it was a carefully engineered solution to real wartime problems, and its odd appearance is the result of function-driven design. Number 7. Hanomag Kurier. The Hanomag Kurier looks less like a truck and more like a farm tractor wearing a delivery body. With its upright stance, narrow width, exposed mechanical elements, and minimal cab structure, it feels closer to agricultural equipment than commercial transport. This oddity is exactly what makes it fascinating. Hanomag was primarily an industrial and engine manufacturer, best known for diesel technology. The Kurier was developed in post-war Germany, where simplicity, fuel efficiency, and durability were far more important than comfort or appearance. The truck was powered by a small, slow-revving diesel engine designed for long service life rather than speed. Performance was modest, but reliability was excellent. The engine could run for extended periods with minimal maintenance, a critical advantage in an era of limited resources. The drivetrain was basic and strong, and the truck's low complexity meant fewer breakdowns. The Kurier was intended for light commercial duties, municipal work, local deliveries, and small businesses. Its compact size allowed it to operate in narrow streets, while its diesel engine offered better fuel economy than gasoline competitors. Visually, the Kurier appears unfinished. Panels are flat, proportions are awkward, and there is no attempt at aesthetic balance. But this was intentional. Every component was designed to be functional, accessible, and cheap to repair. Today, the Hanomag Kurier looks so strange that many assume it was a prototype or limited experiment. In reality, it was a legitimate production truck that served a practical role during Germany's Reconstruction years. Its fake appearance is simply the result of extreme functional honesty. Number 6. Pegaso Barajas. The Pegaso Barajas is one of those trucks that feels historically misplaced. When viewed today, its clean lines, expansive glass area, and forward control cab design appear more consistent with trucks from the 1970s or even early 1980s. Yet the Barajas entered service in the 1950s, a time when most European trucks still relied on upright grilles, narrow windscreens, and heavily compartmentalized cabs. Pegaso was Spain's state-owned truck manufacturer, created after World War II to modernize the nation's industrial and transport capacity. The Barajas was part of that mission. Rather than copying existing European designs, Pegaso engineers pursued a forward-looking approach focused on driver visibility, efficiency, and urban usability. The cab featured large wraparound windows that dramatically improved situational awareness, an uncommon feature at the time but essential for city deliveries and port operations. Mechanically, The Barajas used diesel engines designed for durability and steady output rather than speed. These engines were well suited to Spain's infrastructure at the time, where long distances, heavy loads, and high temperatures demanded reliability over refinement. The chassis was robust, with suspension tuned to handle uneven roads without excessive wear. The truck's forward control layout allowed for a shorter overall length while maximizing cargo space, an important consideration in older European cities with limited maneuvering room. This layout also contributed to its unusual appearance. To modern eyes, the proportions look exaggerated, with the cab appearing almost too far forward and too tall relative to the chassis. Because Pegaso trucks were rarely exported outside southern Europe, the Barajas remains relatively unknown internationally. This unfamiliarity often leads people to assume it was a concept vehicle or design study. In reality, it was a fully productionized work truck used extensively across Spain. The Pegaso Barajas looks fake today because it challenged the visual norms of its era. It was not strange because it was experimental. It was strange because it was ahead of its time, prioritizing function and ergonomics long before they became industry standards. Number 5. Saurer D330. Swiss manufacturer Saurer built trucks with a reputation for precision, durability, and longevity that bordered on over-engineering. The Saurer D330 exemplifies this philosophy. At first glance, it looks oddly tall and narrow, with an upright cab and proportions that feel more industrial than automotive. This appearance was the direct result of engineering priorities shaped by Switzerland's geography. Saurer trucks were designed to operate reliably in mountainous terrain, hauling heavy loads on steep gradients for extended periods. Stability, braking performance, and drivetrain strength mattered far more than visual balance. The D330 used a diesel engine developed with an emphasis on torque and long service life. Saurer engines were known for their robustness and conservative tuning, which allowed them to operate continuously under load without excessive wear. Maintenance intervals were generous, and component access was straightforward. Chassis construction was exceptionally strong. Frames were heavily reinforced, axles were designed to handle sustained stress, and suspension systems were tuned for load stability rather than comfort. Cab interiors were Spartan but functional, reflecting the Swiss approach to industrial design: everything necessary, nothing decorative. What makes the D330 look fake today is its lack of stylistic compromise. There are no sweeping lines or aesthetic flourishes. Every surface exists because it serves a purpose. This utilitarian honesty can feel alien in an era where even heavy trucks are styled for brand identity. Saurer trucks were expensive compared to competitors, but they earned loyalty through reliability. Many remained in service for decades, often outlasting cheaper alternatives. The D330's strange appearance is simply the visible outcome of engineering decisions driven by terrain, regulation, and durability. It may look unreal, but it was a very real and very serious working truck. Number 4. Tatra 813. The Tatra 813 is one of the most extreme trucks ever built for regular service. With its multiple driven axles, enormous size, and unusual proportions, it often looks more like a fictional military vehicle than a production truck. Yet the 813 was fully real and widely used. Introduced in the late 1960s, the Tatra 813 was designed for military and heavy industrial roles in environments where conventional trucks simply could not operate. Its defining feature was Tatra's backbone chassis, a central load-bearing tube that housed the drivetrain and allowed for independently suspended wheels. This design provided exceptional torsional rigidity and off-road articulation. The 813 was powered by an air-cooled engine, eliminating vulnerabilities associated with liquid cooling systems. Combined with all-wheel drive and multiple axles, this allowed the truck to traverse mud, sand, snow, and undeveloped terrain with remarkable effectiveness. Visually, the truck is overwhelming. The cab sits high, the body stretches endlessly, and the wheel arrangement looks almost exaggerated. These features often make people assume the truck was a prototype or one-off experiment. In reality, the 813 was produced in significant numbers and served for decades in military logistics and heavy transport. The truck's size and complexity were not for show. They were necessary to move heavy equipment where roads did not exist. Its appearance reflects function taken to an extreme. The Tatra H113 looks fake because it operates far outside the norms of civilian trucking. But in its intended role, it was one of the most capable trucks ever built. Number 3. Berliet T100. The Berliet T100 is so large that it often appears digitally altered in photographs. Standing taller than many buildings and weighing well over 100 tons when loaded, it looks less like a truck and more like a mobile industrial structure. Yet the T100 was a real operational vehicle built in the 1950s for a specific and demanding purpose. Berliet designed the T100 for oil exploration in the Sahara Desert, where conventional trucks could not operate. Roads were non-existent, loads were massive, and reliability was critical. To meet these demands, Berliet engineered the largest truck of its time, complete with gigantic tires, a massive cab, and engines derived from heavy military technology. The truck used multiple engines in early configurations, and later a single extremely large power plant, delivering the torque required to move enormous loads across sand. Steering, braking, and suspension systems were all custom-built to handle the vehicle's unprecedented mass. Only a small number of T100s were built, but they were not prototypes. They operated in real conditions, hauling real loads in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The Berliet T100 looks fake because it violates our expectations of scale. It is simply too big to seem believable. But it existed, it worked, and it remains one of the most extraordinary trucks ever built. Number 2. GMC Futurliner. The GMC Futurliner is one of the most visually unbelievable trucks ever to operate on public roads. Standing over 3 meters tall, with a towering vertical cab, massive side doors, and dramatic Art Deco styling, it looks more like a science fiction prop or a movie set than a real vehicle. Yet the Futurliner was not only real, it was fully road legal, self-powered, and used extensively across the United States. The Futurliner was developed in the late 1930s by General Motors as part of its Parade of Progress, a traveling exhibition designed to educate the public about science, technology, and the future of transportation. Between 1936 and 1940, GM built 12 Futurliners, each serving as a mobile stage and exhibition hall. These trucks traveled from city to city, setting up displays that showcased everything from jet engines to modern household appliances. Mechanically, the Futurliner was a true truck, not a show-only shell. It rode on a heavy-duty GMC chassis and was powered by a gasoline engine driving the rear wheels. Early versions used inline-six engines, later upgraded for better performance. The drivetrain, brakes, and suspension were designed to handle the vehicle's immense weight and height, ensuring it could safely navigate highways and urban streets. The most striking feature was the body. The sides opened outward to form stages, display platforms, or presentation areas. Internally, the truck housed lighting systems, power generation equipment, and structural reinforcements. Everything was engineered for repeated transport, setup, and teardown over thousands of miles. What makes the Futurliner look fake today is its scale and theatrical design. Modern trucks are designed for aerodynamics and efficiency, while the Futurliner was designed to impress and inspire. Its proportions feel exaggerated and its styling feels deliberately dramatic, qualities rarely seen in functional vehicles today. Despite this, the Futurliner was not fragile. It operated for decades, traveling across North America in real-world conditions. Several examples survive today in museums and private collections, restored but fundamentally unchanged. The GMC Futurliner looks like something that should never have existed outside a designer's imagination. Yet it was a real functioning truck that spent years rolling across America, making it one of the strangest legitimate trucks ever built. Number 1. Mercedes-Benz Unimog U404. At the top of this list sits a truck that seems to defy basic physics, the Hanomag U404. With its tiny body, massive ground clearance, portal axles, extreme wheel articulation, and narrow track, the U404 looks more like a toy or a digitally altered vehicle than something built for real-world use. Yet the Hanomag U404 is not only real, it is one of the most capable trucks ever produced. The Unimog platform was developed in Germany after World War II as a universal motor machine, capable of performing agricultural, industrial, and military tasks. The U404, produced primarily in the 1950s and 1960s, became one of the most widely used military variants, serving armed forces in dozens of countries. What makes the U404 look unreal is its engineering. The truck uses portal axles, which place the axle centerline above the wheel hubs using reduction gears. This dramatically increases ground clearance without raising the vehicle's center of gravity. Combined with coil springs, long suspension travel, and locking differentials, the U404 can climb steep inclines, cross deep ruts, and traverse terrain that would immobilize conventional trucks. The drivetrain was equally robust. A gasoline engine powered all four wheels through a heavy-duty transmission designed for crawling speeds and high torque. The U404 was not fast, but it was relentless. It could operate in mud, snow, sand, and rocky terrain with remarkable reliability. The cab was basic, offering minimal comfort but excellent visibility. Everything about the truck was designed for function. There were no decorative elements, no unnecessary panels, and no concern for conventional proportions. The shape existed purely to support mechanical capability. To modernize, the Unimog U404 looks fake because it violates every expectation of what a truck should look like. It is too tall, too narrow, too articulated, and too capable. Yet it served for decades in military logistics, disaster response, and remote operations. The Hanomag U404 is proof that when engineering is allowed to prioritize capability above appearance, the result can look unbelievable. It earns the #1 spot because it doesn't just look fake, it looks impossible. And yet it was absolutely real. So that's it for today. If you like this video, then please hit the like and subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching.